Good morning, everyone. Let me grab my little pie. We're a little early, so you could say hi to Pie. We're gonna do our brewing success wrap up today. Do you want to be part of it? Yeah? Oh, she might have to go check who's here. She'll be back. Let me get Lily on. Come on, Instagram. There's Lily. Okay, good. Hey, Lily.
Hey, what? Where's Pie? Bring her back up there. I saw her.
She was here to welcome everyone, but Dandy said someone's at the door, so she had to go check.
Life, okay? Thank you, Pie.
Hey, Precious. Good morning. Welcome, everyone. Okay, Pie's back. Come say hi. Come say hi. There we go. She protected the house. Now she's ready for brewing success.
She's so cute. You said she's 1 soon?
Yeah, she'll be 1 at the end of the month.
Everybody, what you're getting for?
Say it again.
Tell everyone what you're getting ready for with Pie.
Oh, she is getting ready to take her Canine Good Citizenship test. So it's a little obedience test for those that don't know. That just helps them be good citizens of the world, not jump on people when they greet them, and be able to be held by other people, which is her hardest part. She's very attached, but we're working on it.
I get that. Well, it means you have good vibes if she's that attached to you. But good luck on your Canine Good Citizen. Ruby of Black Dog also has her Canine Good Citizen designation. And she got that when she was like 5 or 6. She's always been a very calm dog, but I was just very impressed when you said you were getting ready to do it with Pie, and Pie's not even yet a year old, because usually they're a little bit older, and they kind of mellow out a little bit. So you'll be great.
We might have to do it when she's older too. I'm not so sure that we'll pass the first time, but she definitely needs something to keep her mind busy. She's so smart. So we're going to try.
Yeah. Or even getting into that right now is a really good thing. So obedience is good. And, this is part of the reason why Ruby is my best dog friend, is because, she's always been really calm and had a great vibe about her. I don't know how else to say it. And so I have taken her everywhere with me since I adopted her, 9.5 years ago, and have gotten really close. You connect with your dog in that way when you do fun things with them like that. So looking forward to watching her obedience success.
Thank you. Well, thanks everyone for joining and for the reschedule. I really appreciate your flexibility. We both have our coffee and we're ready to do this on a Thursday. As you've seen, this is going to be our little wrap up. We're going to kind of recap briefly everything that we've gone over, and then talk about what's next. Talk about how you can implement it, and where you can go from here. So we've talked about doing the research as you start your organization and really getting clear on your why so that you stand out and you're different than everyone else. We've talked about collecting stories and keeping records so that as you talk about your mission and your message, you don't have to start from scratch every time. We've talked about fundraising 101. You've got a masterclass from Lily about fundraising and grant writing, and I took so many notes, so I hope you did too. And don't worry if you missed an episode. They all live on YouTube, and they're on both of our websites, so you can go back and rewatch and make sure that you caught everything too. So now what? Now what do we do? What is next for your organization? You know where you're headed. You know that you're unique and what your message is, what your why is, that status quo that you want to shatter. First things first, we want to go ahead and take all the pressure off. As you're starting, just like when you're starting a business, like Lily and I started a business. Lily, I'm pretty sure you would agree that things changed almost immediately from what you first thought they would be.
And yeah. I mean, it is a wild ride. Nothing ever ends up quite as you planned.
Exactly. But giving yourself permission to evolve and change and consistently learn new things and try new things is all part of the process. So while we're talking about a lot of planning, a lot of strategy, a lot of research, we don't want you to feel like if you have to take a left instead of a right, that everything is just down the toilet. Like, you can pivot, you can create new things and see where it takes you, no matter what opportunities come your way. And with that bit of optimism, you might be thinking, all right, great, that's so hopeful, but it's just me and I'm already overwhelmed. How can I get all of this done? Totally understand that. We're both solo entrepreneurs. We think that on the daily. When we met this morning before this call, I had a little bit of a breakdown. So first things first, it's completely normal to be like, how am I going to get this done by myself? And no, you're not alone in that. And when I say you're not alone in that, I really want you to think about if it really is just you at your organization. You have Lily and I, you have a ton of people out there that are also starting organizations that you can buddy up with, reach out to for accountability and support. I'm sure that there are volunteers that would be interested in helping your cause. As you build your organization, you'll also have a board of directors that you can lean on. And as you grow, you'll be adding to your team, whether it's part-time, whether it's a consultant or a full-time employee even. You will have other people in your corner. It might feel like just you right now, but there are tons of people ready to support you, waiting in the wings. And so really take time to assess, is it just me? And if you are bigger, if you are more established and you do have a little bit of a team around you, take time to ask them what they're interested in. Maybe there's something in professional development that they want to work on. Maybe you have a grant writer that is interested in doing your social media posts and wants to learn about marketing. You can really support your team and grow your organization at the same time. Just be creative and strategic about that as well. And one thing I will name drop, because the book really helped me as I built my business and worked with clients on organizing and strategizing their team and how they could leverage the members of their team, was Dan Martell's Buy Back Your Time. I've listened to it on audiobook, so feel free to just play it while you're driving somewhere and take a tip. It's easy to put down and pick up. But one thing that stood out for me in his book of his philosophy were playbooks. So as you go from being a solopreneur and starting an organization, you're going to be doing a lot of this, and you can do it. But as you go to delegate, as you go to lean on those other people, write down how you do things, what your process is, where the files exist, and take that as a playbook of all the instructions on how to do the thing and give it to the volunteer, give it to the new hire. As you delegate, everything's already organized. So I really, really thought that playbooks were a great tool.
Can I affirm? I just want to affirm this, and like I wanted to snap either at you or the author, because yes, and this is so key, and we'll talk about fundraising in just a second, but it's so important not only to create shared understanding, which is so important in any organization. The smaller you get, I would argue, the more important it is. Make sure that everybody is reading from the same sheet of music. This also helps with succession planning, or if a position is eliminated or somebody leaves or somebody changes their job. Having that playbook is so beneficial to the organization in a myriad of ways.
Absolutely. For example, one of my clients was asking, like, how do we write this like appeal letter, essentially, like we talked about in fundraising? Like, how do we write this ask? I want to transfer it to you, but it's all in my head. And I'm like, all right, well then let's spend 20 minutes. You tell me what you've been doing. I'm going to write it out. You can read it and see if I've captured all the steps. I help them build their playbooks. So if you don't have them already and you're like, oh my gosh, there's no way that I can delegate any of this, just start with one task, a 20-minute phone call with that person, get the list out. Like Lily said, it'll be invaluable for the future.
Love it.
And so maybe it is just you, like we're saying, and maybe it is all in your head and you are running it and you know how things run. Or maybe your team has some knowledge gaps. That's totally okay. There are people like Lily and I, so like I did for that organization when I came in and wanted to restructure how they were running their fundraising emails. You can lean on consultants for specific projects. You can lean on them for a 20-minute phone call, for a retainer in like a part-time position. Wherever the knowledge gaps are, or wherever you feel like you're struggling, sometimes one of the best options is to lean on a professional that is laser focused in this area, because then you don't have to worry about all the onboarding and tax implications of hiring someone full-time, and maybe it's not even a full-time position yet. But if you really just want someone to come in, look at your current systems, look at how you're fundraising, look at your marketing, your social strategy, sometimes that outside perspective can be really valuable, and they can help you optimize what you're already doing. It's an outside perspective, gets you to look at it from another angle too, so you can really elevate your organization that way. And this doesn't always have to be a consultant. This could be a volunteer that is a marketing professional in the city, and you're a nonprofit in the country, and they just want to virtually volunteer with you a couple hours a week. Leverage that. Be flexible and creative, how you can work with experts and how a contractor can help you optimize what you're already doing.
I feel that. And it's, I just want to affirm it. Great. And by the way, as you were talking, I hope you don't mind, I was multitasking. I just ordered Dan Martell's book on Amazon, Buy Back Your Time. I felt that, and I feel that, even on the consultant side, but especially, helping organizations. I've got to tell you, I want to affirm everything you said, and I also want to just say my business model is a bit unique in the fundraising consulting space, in that I understand how many organizations are missing the playbooks, because I have 13 years of experience missing the playbooks at a small to mid-sized nonprofit. So this is something that, again, an outside person can help you with. Thinking about fundraising consulting in particular, it can be a little bit expensive. So, Bree and I want to help you save precious resources. And it seems a little counterintuitive when we were getting ready for this. We're, going through our notes, and I said, what I really convey is that you don't necessarily need a consultant, which sounds a little weird because we are that. But there's so much that you can be doing before, or there's so much that help lay the groundwork of, or lay the foundation of, before a professional that helps you, which will save time and in turn save you resources. I'll give you a client example. I am helping a client with a feasibility study or a capital. And what a feasibility study is, in a nutshell, is you look at the organization's existing giving data, you interview staff, board members, major donors, other stakeholders in the area, and you do a analysis of the funding in the area or the region or the state, whatever that might be for the industry. And through that, I will create a set of recommendations. So, do I think this organization is ready for a campaign? And if so, what do we think that goal might be? Again, it's this mix of quantitative analysis and qualitative, which I think gives a really, really nice perspective. The challenge, though, that I had, and I'm happy to help, again, because this is what I do and have an integrative model, is even up until yesterday, they didn't have a great idea of what they did. So they said, we want a professional to come out and help us with our campaign. That's great. I'm here to help. What do you need? Well, we're not sure. So we need a new building. Do we want it to be a new build, or do we want to renovate the building? How many square feet do we need? How much office space do we need if we're going to grow our staff? So I went in, as Bree said, schedule a 20-minute call with somebody who can help you. I went in yesterday. We spent about 90 minutes together and really helped to create some of that shared understanding about what are the organization's internal needs, so that I can then take those needs and fold them in the ability study work that I'm doing. Guess what? If they would have had that done, they could have saved 3 weeks of time engaging with me, right? And it's fine, because again, I'm here to help and I'm here to do that. But not all fundraising consultants, or not all consultants, are going to have that really broad scope of work. Some of them might be specialists. And so they'll say, come back to us when you have your goals, or come back to us when everything is done and dusted. So just to say, you know, there's so much that you can be doing on your own. There are so many free resources available. This, you know, join up with your nonprofit entities in the area. I'm in Maryland. There's an organization called Maryland Nonprofits. They're a network of nonprofit leaders and organizations. Learn from what other people are doing, because what I promise you, you are not the only organization in the world that's facing the challenge that you're facing. And so you can team up and share what's working for you, what's not working for you, and also learn from people who have been in that same seat.
Absolutely. Ah, so well said. And really leaning on your community. That is brilliant, right? Whether it is volunteers or whether it is an organization of like co-working or support financially, whatever it is, lean into your community. You picked that location for a reason. So really dive in and see what resources are there for you, monetary or otherwise.
You would not believe how many, you know, there are so many organizations that are, you know, volunteer based or have some sort of volunteer element to them. Board members are volunteers for nonprofit organizations, and people are connected with organizations because people want to help. Remember that. Don't be afraid to lean on those folks. You just would be so amazed at people's background expertise. And even if they don't have that background expertise that you're looking for, having a willingness to learn is just all you need. I worked with a client where, you know, they didn't have an operating budget. You know, they had been in existence, but didn't really have an operating budget that is required of so many grant and funding applications. You know, what's your money coming out? Well, guess what? There was a board member who happened to, you know, wasn't in the accounting world, or you wouldn't necessarily be able to tell looking at his resume, but he had a ton of experience doing that in various other ways. He was able to sit down and help knock out the most incredible baseline operating budget you've ever seen, with sub accounts and everything. And this knowledge was just there in his brain. So don't be afraid to reach out to your network. They're there because they care about the work that you're doing and they want to help. And you will be surprised what folks can come up with in helping to create that playbook.
Absolutely. And you just made me think of something, because I'm trying to get into Reels. So like, look, a social media manager that is just getting into Reels for her own business. So like, I'm seeing you don't have to be perfect. But I'm trying to make more Reels for my business. And I just made one the other day that was speaking to freelancers, right? But it's about finding your community, about finding your people, about surrounding yourself with people that are ahead of you, that are asking questions you didn't know to ask, that can inspire you, support you, and be there through the tough times. And I think the same applies no matter what you're starting. So whether you're a freelancer and you're starting a business like we did, or whether you're trying to start a nonprofit, find a nonprofit that's willing to mentor you, or take an executive director to coffee and ask them questions of what they wish they knew when they were starting. Really lean into your community and lean on your community, because there's so much knowledge out there on Facebook. There are Facebook groups even. So if you're not somewhere where there's a ton of people around you, like you said, there's just so much untapped knowledge. All you have to do is ask.
You know, I have the same thing. I have a couple of mentors, one of whom is a dear friend of mine and has been in the fundraising world longer than I've been alive. And I am constantly picking my brain on the things, you know, and on the fundraising side of things too. The world is always evolving for all of us. So, you know, I run by him all the time, and it's absolutely incredible the wealth of knowledge that he with me. And you know, sometimes I'm, you know, having a hard time because the work is hard and you want to do the best for the organizations that you're working for, and you question your, and Bree and I were talking about this earlier. And so it's really nice to have that from somebody that, you know, you're not alone and everybody goes through this. You know, here are some tools to put in your toolbox to help you. as a total aside, I got Threads and have no idea how to use it, and I'm gonna need help. So I think, Bree, I might be keen on you to help me understand what this is. I just worried that I was gonna get FOMO, fear of missing out, and so I just got it. Like, I instinctively was like, get a thread, but I don't really know how to use it. So maybe I'm gonna rely on you for your expertise there.
I'm so glad you brought up Threads, because for two reasons. One reason, millions of people had FOMO. That's why they had over, like, what was it, 10 million users sign up in the first 24 hours or something, and it's still not even available in the EU. So that's just an untapped market waiting to happen. But for the second reason being, there is this pressure to sign up for everything, to do everything, to be everywhere. And I want to give you permission, and I want to give people watching permission to say, I'm only going to focus on Facebook, and that is okay. I'm only going to focus on TikTok, and that is okay. Like, I just talked about how I'm trying to add reels. So this month I'm focusing a little more on TikTok. That's totally okay. You do not have to do all of the things. You do not have to be everywhere. I think it's funny when creators, I think we're a week into Threads, are already sharing how to leverage Threads, everything you need to know about Threads. And I'm like, it's been out a week. No one knows how to do it. No, and they're adding new features. No one knows what they are. So can we all just take a collective breath and just have fun on a platform for once, right? So I'm happy to be there to bounce ideas off of. But right now it's pretty much a stream of consciousness type text-based platform. It's yet to be seen how influential it will be for anyone, let alone nonprofit organizations, right? So I will help, but we're all going to take a collective breath, and we're just going to let it do its thing. Maybe get a month in, let them work out some stuff, and then we'll connect.
So it's so interesting. Thank you for that, because social media, from a business perspective, for me, is just not something that rises to the top of my brain. It's just not, I understand it's important, and it's really cool to highlight some of the work of my amazing clients, and that makes me so proud, but I don't go to that. That's not my default. Oh, let me take a video of this or a picture of this for later, and let me schedule this thing and that. I just don't do that. So thank you for saying it's okay to not do everything. I have Instagram and Facebook. I have a LinkedIn that I literally have not touched in months, and it's kind of nagging in the back of my head, like, you should probably update that LinkedIn, or you should probably come up with some content for that LinkedIn, but it's just not a priority right now. So I have to be okay with what I have, and I use Canva, and I love it. Shout out to Canva. If you are a nonprofit or you do not have Canva, CANA, you 100% have to get it. It's free for nonprofits. I pay like $12 a month for it as a business. It is the best $12 a month I spend, and it can help you do so much on the social side, website stuff. And I am not technologically savvy, and I can navigate it. So just like wanted to check that.
I love it.
Yeah, it's amazing. But
I will say, Lily, as you're leveraging Canva, maybe just look at your LinkedIn, make sure it's like in the past year relevant. Like, that is my one caveat to my permission to not be on all the things. If you are on some of the things, just make sure it's up to date. That's it. You don't have to post. Just make sure if someone searches you on LinkedIn, it's not from like 2019 or something.
Oh no, I want to let you know that everything is up to date. I have a business in. It has one post on it, so that I can probably work on. But yes, I will, after this Instagram live, I'm gonna work on that LinkedIn. So, but I'm not gonna work on Threads because I have no idea what's going on.
No one does.
Yes. Something that you hit on, just to bring it back, and I really want to emphasize this: you don't have to do it all, and you certainly don't have to do it all today. Especially when we're talking about fundraising, the bricks that you're using to build the foundation of your house. You got to go brick by brick. You don't have to solve the world's problems. You don't need a very complicated strategic plan with, measurable outcomes and SMART goals and all that stuff. If you're there and if you have all the other stuff, great. Do your thing. We support you. But so many folks are not. And they think, the top of the mountain is this really detailed thing that, frankly, is just going to sit on a shelf and not be used if you don't have those foundations. And guess how you build a house? One brick at a time, friends. So start with, gosh, we don't have, working with a client yesterday. They have a major donor event coming up in August. And I said, okay, great. I have a template. Right? And guess what? I have my own template. You can find a template on Google and build one out for yourself. There are, again, a lot of resources. And it's just an event template. What's the theme of the event? When's the event? What are the logistics? What are the criteria of the folks that are being invited? What's the theme? Food, beverage, all that stuff. And I said, and they've had this event year over year. And I said, okay, well, what's the event called? And they said, Major Donor Event. And I said, no. Like, what's the outward facing title? And they said, Major Donor Event. I said, okay, well, let's start by coming up with a cool name for the event that we can use year over year that isn't so blatant. And they said, gosh, that's a really good idea. So guess what? We did that. And it's, honoring our heroes, right? And, this is a theme that we can take and run with. And we created a template, and now they have it. And now they know for the next event, we're just going to do the same thing. That's a brick for the foundation, right? All of this institutional knowledge was in their brains, but it wasn't quite spelled out that way. So brick by brick.
Absolutely. And if you don't know what that first brick is, that's when you can reach out to someone that's ahead of you or that works with nonprofits like Lily and I do and be like, these are the goals and the dreams that I have. Are these possible? And where do I start? Because someone that's done it before is going to be able to say, hey, this brick needs to go in first. Right. So just reach out, again, full circle to the resources that are available in your community. Yeah. And when you're a copywriter, because I promised to talk about copywriting and marketing and how my fellow copywriters that are out there wanting to work with nonprofit organizations, wanting to help and give back. If you see or you have a friend that is starting a nonprofit, you hear about it in your community, there's a small one and you see how you could get more awareness around their message, that's where you can step in, reach out, say, hey, can I, buy you a coffee, and I can tell you about how I can help, why I want to be involved. Start even as a volunteer. Your services are a business expense. It's a donation. So there are ways to give back that are still financially responsible. I am not a tax expert. This is not tax advice. But consider all your options. And it goes back to being flexible and creative with how you can give back and help, especially when you're getting your foot in the door. As my mentor, Alex Catoni at the Copy Posse says, lead with value. And like you were talking about before, that person that called you and you said, I don't think you're right for me, but here's where you can start. You gave so much value. So when you start with copywriting with nonprofits, keep in mind that budgets are limited and they might not know what they need, right? You might see a bunch of opportunity, say, hey, these are areas that I can help with. This is the type of growth that I can offer your organization and the awareness of your mission. Here's 3 things that you can do right now. And if you want help to implement more, here's my information, and we can talk about how to work together. Just building relationships should be a priority. Especially in the nonprofit space where you're dealing with people that are giving so much of themselves, not only money, but time and energy. And I think that leading with relationship building is probably the most, the top tip that I can give you is really try to get to know the executive director, try to get to know the organization, their mission and what they're doing before you ever offer your services.
I want to affirm this, and I apologize that if you've heard my dogs barking in the background, UPS loves to come during the 1 hour a month that my he's the bomb. Anyway, sorry if you heard them shouting in the background. Gotta love the dogs. You know, this is something that's from the consultant side, it's somewhat counterintuitive for me to say, but I've been on the other side of things, and I am not going to offer services to somebody if they can do it on their own or if there's an avenue that they need to research first. I'm just not going to do it because to me that feels a little bit unethical. And again, your mileage may vary, and this is just sort of where I stand. But the best thing that I ever did that I just thought I was doing the right thing, and it was, is when I was starting out, I had my very first client, and they reached out to me and they said, we need help becoming a 501c3. And I said, well, that's really great. I can help. They said, well, how much do you charge? And I had no idea how much I charged, because guess what? I was like brand new, right? And I'm trying to figure out what my scale is. And more importantly, I've done these things as part of another organization, but I've never done them on behalf of an organization. So there was something for me to learn there as well. And not only was there something for me to learn there, I was able to create my own playbook, I can now use for other clients. So in some ways they were my guinea pig, even though I have the expertise, but not in this setting, this time with this organization. And I said, I'm not going to charge you. I'm going to do it for free. And I will tell you, that person has spoken so highly of me. I am so grateful for her. And I've had 3 or 4 people come my way because of that. Right. Yep. And again, I do it because I wanted leads. I did it because it was the right thing to do. And I led with the relationship first. And it ended up being a great thing in so many ways. And I learned, and they got what they needed, and it was a win-win-win all around.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's it. Like you said, that they referred you, but even if you don't know the person and you're not sure that they are the type of person to make referrals, you can always ask for a testimonial, right? And use that in your own marketing.
I'll tell you, it comes back around, and they will, you know. And I told them that. She said, well, no, I want to pay you. Guess what? When you're ready to do fundraising work, right? This was just a tax document, basically, IRS registration. I said, when you're ready to cross that bridge, call me. And indeed they did. So just, you know, it really does end up working out, and it ends up saving you as a consultant. If there are any consultants that are going to watch this, it saves you time as well, because you can focus on the things that really take time. And you're empowering that other organization or individual to, you know, do the things that they can be doing independent of you, so that you can really maximize your value add later when you do engage with them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. Yep. I mean, like that's like my top tip. So I don't want to go into the others, but I'm going to.
Do it.
Because it all comes down to relationship.
Sure.
All of these relate to relationship. But as you're talking to that person, as you know, get them for coffee, or they call you and they have needs, really listen to what they need. You're coming in as an expert. You're coming in with the experience, and at least in my experience, and Lily, chime in if you've experienced this too. Some people, when they reach out, or I reach out to them, and we're talking about the organization and their needs and where they want to take the things, and they don't always know what that looks like. Like, they know what they want. Like, in their head, they have a dream. They're like, I want 100,000 followers. Okay. You're at 2. Right? And so it's about expectation setting and bringing in your expertise of how you can get them to 100,000, the time it's going to take, the effort it's going to take, the type of content that they'll need. They don't always know what it takes. So it's a lot of education on your side of coming in with that expertise of saying, this is the way I work, this is the process that will take, and this is how we can achieve your goals. The more you listen to the language they're using and the needs that they're expressing, the goals and dreams that they have, the better you can serve them. And so just really listening to the words that they're is another top tip as you're having those conversations.
That's great. And again, it's creating that shared language between you two as well. You know, having that shared language and that shared understanding is just so. And by the way, who wants 100,000 followers? I just want 100.
Where are you? Wait, you've given us an update on every brewing success. Where are you?
I think I'm still at 80. Actually, I think I'm at 88. So,
oh, we're getting close. We're getting close.
I'm 12 followers. I might have a hat. I might have a black dog hat for my 100th follower. I don't know. I might want to dangle that carrot out there.
That would be really fun. I know you're gonna make it soon. Yay!
But again, it's just not top of mind for me, you know? And that's why you have expert friends who can help you and show you how to.
We'll get you to 100.
Get to 100. You know, that's why I have you, Bree. I need you in my life.
Well, ditto, because I have learned so much during this process. Oh my gosh. Okay.
What are we gonna do next month?
I don't know. It's gonna be weird. I might just call you on the second Tuesday. You know.
From Instagram lives where we're just doing stream of consciousness about what's going on in our worlds and how we can help.
Actually, we'll put it out to y'all. If you want us to continue this, even in the casual sense of what's going on in the nonprofit world, sharing bits and tips from our month, comment on this video and we'll consider making more content because this is as far as we planned it. But talking about flexibility being tip number 2, we are flexible to creating more content if you guys want to see it. So do let us know.
It is the world, to say the world is ever changing, both in fundraising and I think in copy. You know, this AI thing is so crazy and interesting to me, and I have so many questions. And you know, how should I use it? Can I use it? What's for organizations? I think that there's continued fodder for our.
That's a teaser. That's a teaser. So stay tuned. It sounds like we have more in the pipeline.
Talk about, and you know, philanthropic trends are always changing, and you know, it was just study for fun because it's what I do, about how so many private foundations are now shifting to general operating support rather than program specific initiatives, which is amazing and exactly the right thing to do. But you know, what precipitated that change, and what are the implications for profits? There is no shortage of stuff for us to continue to talk about. So let us know.
I love it. All right. You heard it here first.
And it gives me more content so that I can get to my 100th follower and update my LinkedIn. All the way.
That's the real reason. You're using this for content.
Right. Yeah. You're the one that I want everyone to know that Bree is the brains behind this operation, 1000%. She's the one that puts things on YouTube and sends me the link since I don't know how to do it. We're going live on her Instagram. She's the expert here. I'm just tagging along for the ride. So thank you for letting me tag along on this amazing. And I've learned so much, and it is always so wonderful to find people who are in alignment with how they want to make their mark in the world. That's my biggest takeaway here. And I think that so many people who are watching this feel the same way, and they are wired similarly, and they want to make the world too. And we're here to help you. Whether that means in a professional capacity or in a value add capacity, or directing you to the right resource, or, you know, any of these different ways that we can collectively move the needle for things that matter. That's why we're here.
Absolutely. Oh, goosebumps. So well said. Since we're getting close to 40 minutes, I want to be respectful of people's time. So I'll breeze through the last couple points for copywriters, and then we'll wrap up. Sound good?
Let's do it.
Awesome. So we've talked a little bit about being flexible. A lot of nonprofit organizations, they are coming from a perspective of, I have to hire, I have to have a full-time employee. That just makes sense to me. You'll see a lot of jobs posted for full-time employees. come in and explain to them how you can still be a part of the team, how you still care about the cause, even as a separate contractor, even as a part-time employee, whatever you're looking for, how you can still be a part of the team and support the mission. The more you can address their concerns of you being outside the organization, but part of the team, the better your working relationship will be. And then don't forget to emphasize your value. I want to scream this from the rooftops for all of my freelancers. Don't forget to emphasize your value. You are experts in this area. Please own it. Please walk into that conversation and say, I know exactly the type of content you need. This is what I do every day, and this is why I'm perfect to help you, because I love black dogs and I want to help you rescue more, because I love horses and I want to help you foster more. I'm pointing to Joy, my new foster horse who's in the field out that way. But show your compassion, show your passion, and really own what you bring to the table. All too often, we're told to fit into a box. Expand the box.
And on the organization side, be open to that. Be open to having a subject matter expert come in and suggest ways that maybe you can do it a little bit differently than you've done it before. It doesn't mean you have to, but you have to be open to it. You know, my least favorite phrase on the earth is, we've always done it this way. I just can't. I have no patience for it. Now, you may have always done it this way, and you may continue to do it this way, but let's look at that first. So, you know, shout out all the subject matter experts in this space, copywriting and marketing, that, you know, you do have a host of experiences that, you know, I as an individual do not have. So I have to be open to these and be willing to take that.
Absolutely. Such a good point, Lily. It goes to, they think they know what they're looking for because they've created an image of who they think can help them, but you come in and you show them what you can do and how. The more you can storytell, use that language that you listen to, and bring it back to what they're looking for, the more successful you're going to be on both sides. Listening and using each other's language to get that common language between you.
Right.
So as promised, we want to keep it to 30-45 minutes. So sadly, we are going to wrap up our last episode for now, because we just teased more content.
We just wing that too. I just listen, I don't know if you want to be done with me or not, but I just threw that ball in your court. I love hanging out with you, and I am so personally interested to know about this AI stuff. Like, I just need your guidance on this. We got to talk about it.
I'm experimenting with it too, so I would love to have a conversation. So why don't we say that? We'll pick a date and we'll let you guys know, but our next conversation will be about AI.
That's really exciting. Boy, I got to figure out what AI is. I've got to figure out what Threads is, and I've got to figure out what AI is, and I've got to update. I feel like every time, you know, we have one of these Instagram lives, I have a to-do list leaving it, but in the best way.
But that's your point. Everything's changing all the time. That's what the take-home message should be from this episode. Right. Is be flexible, because everything changes all the time.
Right. Well, I am so glad that we've had this series. As Bree mentioned earlier, these are on YouTube. Thanks, Bree. I have the link on my website. All 5 episodes soon to be. Bree does as well. Follow us on social, Instagram, Facebook, Reels, TikTok. I don't know. I don't want to TikTok.
Or just send us a message or email. Whatever your preferred method of communication is, we'll find it, and we're here to help you.
And
oh, your audio cut out on my end. I don't know. Oh no. Lily, I don't know if you can hear me, but thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, are you there? Okay. Say what you just said again.
I don't know. I'm a one-trick pony. It was like a splash of brilliance. What I said is that we're here to help you, and send us a message. If you want to bounce some ideas off of us or run something by us, that's what we're here to help with. And thank you all who have joined us through this adventure, and whether you're in the for-profit or nonprofit space, for doing what you can to make a difference in the world.
Awesome.
Cool.
You recapped it beautifully. I just want to make sure it's in there for the recording. Thank you all so much. We will be back soon. Have a great day.
Next time.
Bye.
Bye.